YouTube. Okay, this is my first live. Hopefully by the time I end this live, I'm gonna know how to save it to my channel. I'm hoping, because I literally tried to film this video for you guys. Like literally, I have, I'm like through the video and I'm running out of space on my phone. So today's live, I'm answering subscribers' questions that you guys have been leaving in the comments. So I'm gonna just start fresh, and we're just gonna get into it. But since I'm live, I really want to say like thank y'all for those of you that did subscribe. This channel got to 1,000 subscribers, and if somehow I do find out how to save this and you are new to this channel, when you guys see this video, lots of content is going to be coming out regarding several recession-proof industries. So I focus on trucking, but pretty soon the content is going to roll into some financial industry stuff. Hi, Suave Dan, long time no see. I know I have been so busy, like business related, etc., etc. So I just been saying like I have been trying to film a video. I'm answering some questions. If you have any questions while you're watching, just drop it. And yeah, a lot of people have been asking like about a lot of people have been asking me to leave like an email so you guys could ask me questions, but my Instagram is available to DM me at any time. You guys could always leave questions in the comments. I'm not quite comfortable yet leaving an email, but while you guys are on live, definitely drop comments. They'll pop up and I'll see. But I'm gonna continue or start over my video because I keep running out of space to get into these questions. So one of the first questions, I actually have a bunch of y'all questions here from the comments. One of the most popular questions that is like reoccurring is, where am I from? And I get a lot of comments that say like you like my accent, etc., etc. So I'm not from Jamaica, I'm not from Trinidad, I'm from the US Virgin Islands, St. Thomas to be exact. And we are part of America. I am an American. I just happen to have an accent, and I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's where I'm from. So it might be a little bit to scroll through some of the comments, but I really wanted to get this video out for y'all. So let's see what we have here. So somebody asked on one of my videos, when I did a truck tour, if I drive a lease. So leasing a truck is something that I am considering getting into, but currently no, I don't drive a lease. I've been driving as a company driver for over a year now. It's going on 2 years in June. And I think only not last month, in December, yeah, I guess you could consider a company driver, but that was like a contract position. So yeah, technically a company driver, but no, I've never driven a lease. I have no experience with lease purchasing or anything like that. So somebody said, oh, that's more of a comment than a question. Somebody said, so even after doing this for a while, do you still parallel park? Oh no, they say you still don't parallel park. Listen, if you are new and you're interested in trucking, don't worry about parallel parking. I know a lot of people can't parallel park in their trucks. I mean, in their personal vehicles, if they don't have to, especially. Listen, parallel parking is not a necessity in truck driving. Okay, I know some schools will tell you, or some recruiters, when you're looking for a trucking school, will tell you that they do parallel parking as part of like their testing. But I didn't at Roadmaster. I didn't at my truck driving school, and pretty much I've probably only done it once or twice, and that was not even to like park for a long time. It was just to take a little break. I would never parallel park unless I absolutely have to. Like, no, you don't have to. It's gonna be very rare that you do. But if you do know how to parallel park, I mean, I've done it, and it's not that hard if you know how to move the truck, which you learn. So let's see. When you finish and went to your first job, what was the pay? So after trucking school, my first job was with Werner. I don't work for them anymore, so I'm comfortable saying the name. I've gotten that question a lot too. Who do you work for? My first job was at Werner, and I had a position. The pay is different by positions, and I have a video on that. The types of trucking positions. I was team driving. I found a teammate. We had similar personalities. We had similar interests. We kind of just hit it off and was like, you know what, let's just drive teams. And the pay was 70,000 a year, but it ranges by the mileage. So if you didn't know, truckers get paid by the mileage. That would actually be a good video idea if I haven't done one already. But truckers get paid by the mileage, not by the hour or anything else like that, not by the load. For the most part, I should say. And sometimes I will get paid 1,200 a week, anywhere up to 15 or 1,600 a week. And I think the most that I've gotten is 1,600 a week during like the holiday season, where it was more high value loads, more miles to run, just high demand periods. So on average, I would say 12 to 15, and if it was more demand, it would be more than that. But it was pretty good coming from working 3 jobs in Philly to making that kind of money. So yeah, that's another popular question, how much you get paid. So let's see. I'm considering getting into trucking, and I've never driven a stick shift. Are they hard to learn? Is it hard to back up? And are there any automatic semis? This is the same situation like parallel parking. If you don't know, the trucking industry is moving to automatics, so you do not need to drive a stick shift. I have never driven a stick shift in my life. Okay, I have a video that I posted recently in December where I was on my contract job, and they had a clutch. It was an automatic truck, so there was no shifting, but they had a clutch pedal, and I had to learn to drive with a clutch pedal. But that's the closest I've done to a stick shift. But other than that, no, you don't need it. Most companies, especially if it's a new company, especially if you're starting out, you're probably gonna work for a new, or not a new company, a bigger company that has newer trucks, because they switch out their trucks often if they could afford it, obviously, and they're all gonna be automatics and pretty much brand new every year. So next question is, I have a CDL B with a P and considering getting an A. Okay. And I'm studying and haven't looked into a school. I'm here in Florida. Any recommendations? I also want to know, can you be like, I don't want to drive in snow, etc. Okay, so I have a video specifically for you. I'm gonna shout you out, Miss Monique, if you ever see this. I made a video specifically for you because that was a really cool question. But to answer the first question, you're looking for driving schools. I went to Roadmaster. I can only recommend Roadmaster because that's the only school that I went to. One thing about me, I'm never going to recommend something that I've never done or have no experience with. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. I feel like it's weird. So yeah, Roadmaster Driving School. What I'll say about them is, like I said previously, there were things, I guess business wise that they don't tell you. Like I didn't know that Werner owned them, and that's why I couldn't speak to other recruiters that I didn't like, because it was kind of like I didn't have a choice. But considering, when I discussed the pay and all that stuff, I was like, okay, cool, I got a job. I got a job. So to me, it didn't matter. But looking back, it was kind of like, why would you restrict me? Like, I don't have a choice. So Roadmaster does that if you're selected by Werner. Other than that, as far as the school itself and learning, how to get your CDL, they are great. The instructors are great. I have no negative things to say about them as far as learning how to drive the truck. And your second question was, I guess you're asking if you could request not to drive in snow or ice. As a new driver, probably not. I would recommend as a new driver, get as much experience as you can. A lot of people are probably not, they don't have the availability because of probably family or whatever personal situation to go over the road. So I get that. But if you can, get the experience, because that's going to help you in, other jobs, etc. Like, let's say you have to move. You want to be able to have versatile experience. And what I'll say is, while I was driving OTR over the road 48 states, I did get a tip that you can request if you have a really good fleet manager that likes you. If you're a likable person, this should be easy to request to drive below I-80. All right. I-80 is the interstate going horizontally, but it's further up north. You're going to hit a lot of the northern states. And if you're going east to west constantly, OTR, you could request to drive on the I-40, which goes and runs on the south, right? So I've never done it. I never really particularly cared, but I heard that you could do that if you have an issue with that. Also, what's something else I want to say about that? If you're worried about driving in snow or ice, request like a regional position. You don't have to go OTR. And you, Monique, or if it's somebody that lives in the south or live in Florida, like this situation, request a regional position in your area where you might not have to drive far up north. So again, I have a video on that. It's called Positions in Trucking. It goes into dedicated and regional routes. Let's see. Still got people in here. I don't even know how I could see that one person, like their name, but if you're still watching, like, tell me, like, are you a trucker? Are you new to trucking? Let me know what's going on. You don't just have to watch the video. So, was it easy to get a job after you got your CDL license? And are trucking companies particularly picky about how much experience you have? Are they hesitant to hire newly licensed drivers? Okay, so I'm actually currently in a process of getting back on a truck, and I decided to film the hire process. So look out for videos. It's gonna be a series. I'm literally filming every step of the hiring process, from application to drug test to all of that. Okay, hey Timothy. I'm filming every step of the process for you guys. But to quickly answer your question, it was very easy for me. Like I said, the recruiters selected for me or gave me all the information to select from there. And after truck driving school, I literally waited for my license, and then I started training with the company. Our companies particular about experience. They're not particular about experience. They'll hire new drivers pretty much out of school. And if you start looking for jobs, you find that a lot of companies are actually, they'll say that they're looking for new drivers, and they might give you a bonus if you have no experience, etc. And what else? I feel like I had one more thing to say about that. Or as far as experience goes, or as far as them being picky, it's more so about your driving record. They only be picky if you have like accidents and stuff like that. I don't know about anybody that have like felonies or anything, so I can't speak on that. But they're not really picky about experience unless it's like a really specific job where you need to drive like toxic something for an endorsement on your license or something. But for the most part, finding a job is easy. And y'all gonna see how easy it is when I post these videos. Let's see. Did you maintain your rental during the time you were over the road? How long is the mentor? How long is the mentor time when you're riding with someone? So I'm assuming my rental, you mean my home? Warner is probably one of the very few companies that I never applied to work for in all these years. Oh, wait, where to go? Okay. It says Warner is probably one of the very few companies that I never applied to work for in all these years. Can't really answer as to why though. I mean, they're okay. I had my ups and downs with them, but I think that's just how it goes with any job, any company. But my personal experience is if you got a good fleet manager, you're pretty good. Like they kept me running, and that's all I care about. Keep me running, and when I ask for home time, give me my home time because I'm always running. That's all I care about. I know everybody a little different. So to get back to that question, did you maintain your rental during the time? So I'm assuming she's talking about like my living situation. When I found out you could sleep on the truck and you be out, what is it, 7 weeks and home for I think 2 days or 4 days or something like that, or 4 weeks and 2 days home, I was like, there's no reason I'm paying rent. I lived on my truck pretty much the entire time that I'm on the road. So I put my stuff in storage, save my money, and most people don't know that about me. But I made that sacrifice. I have no kids, nobody to care for, so that's just that. How long is the mental time when you are riding with someone? It depends. My situation was strange. I had a few run-ins with my mentors. I had two mentors and they were quite strange fellas. But it's supposed to be a month, but they go by your drive hours. So they give you, well, at least, of course, with the company that I worked with, they give you a set number of drive hours to reach. That's kind of like similar in a range for like a job, how much hours you would drive for the job, and some little checkpoints that you have to pass that your mentor is going to say, can they park, can they drive, etc, etc. I pretty much passed all my checkpoints, but for me what happened was my first mentor did something really screwed up where it was literally like my first time driving a truck ever with a loaded trailer. And if you're an experienced driver, you know that's different because it's a lot of weight, and we were at max weight, and we had lost like the GPS or something like that. It was in Alabama, and we ended up on this country road, and pretty much because we had no GPS, he was trying to guide me on where to go. And you know how we have that weird delay, somebody's telling you but you're not getting the accurate timing. Anyways, I missed a turn. I still tried to make the turn and I hard broke. That guy did everything to kick me off the truck, and I was like, okay, whatever. So anyways, that's just a long story short of the tragedy of my mentoring experience. But the second mentor, he was really helpful and he was great. He was just kind of weird. Let's see. I seen a lot of questions about driving manual. Answered that already. So this isn't really a question, it's a comment that I want to address. So I posted my Dollar General, why quit Dollar General? And it's a 75,000 a year job. And somebody said, I doubt that's a 75,000 a year job. You guys, if you are new to trucking, it is possible to increase your income by that much, okay? It really is possible. So let's find some more questions. And shout out to all of you that decided to, like, you know, after watching my videos or a few videos on YouTube, to take the step towards trucking. Like, I've gotten some feedback, you know, that you guys have been doing that, and I think it's cool because, like I said, we don't have that much females out there. Where do you find the CDL information to study in advance? You can ask your recruiter, do you desire to be an owner operator? Yes, it has been in heavy consideration for a while. It's been in heavy consideration for quite a while. I've been with the USA for 15 years now, pretty much all doing dedicated accounts. Okay, so where you from, Timothy? 15 years. That's wow. I don't know if I want to be in trucking that long. I don't know if it's because I want like family and all that stuff, but everybody I know is back home, so 15 years, that's a long time. But I do like trucking. You are beautiful and refreshing to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Where are you from? So let's see. So where do you find the CDL information to study in advance? You can ask your recruiter for information on study guides. I know my recruiter gave me one, but somebody had recommended an app. It's called CDL Study Buddy. You download it and you just take all the tests over and over and over. It's gonna get you in a habit of answering the questions. And quite frankly, the questions on the app were some of the same questions that were on the test. What are some good companies I can drive for? I already have a CDL. I only worked for Werner, but I have heard that people have worked for Prime and they like it. People say JB Hunt is really good. But those are just some of like the major companies. As far as like smaller companies, not so sure. A lot of people just talk about the bigger ones. I've been trucking actually since 1993. I'm from Philadelphia. I used to live in Philadelphia. Which part of Philadelphia? I used to live in West Philly. I actually miss Philly, to be honest. Right now, I'm in California, but I don't know if I'm staying here. So let's see. More questions. Okay, this is a very long comment, but I know it's a question. When you say truck driving school, is that once you get a CDL license and or training for the job or in the job before going solo? Yes. So when you get, I guess this was a question on how to get a CDL. I have a video on that. So when I'm talking about truck driving school, yes, it's in reference to training to get your license. That's it. They're not teaching you to drive. Yes, you will be driving on the truck. Yes, there's a driving portion on the test, but you learn to drive that truck when you're out with your mentor once you are hired with a job. North Philly, Broad and Erie. I only familiar with Broad and Erie catching the train because I used to work. What that area was? Can't remember. Can't remember the area. But I used to work in North Philly. Let's see. More questions. I can't remember the name of that area for the life of me. How is the mindset that you have? I guess they're asking, what is the mindset that you have to want to do trucks? Okay. That's a really good question. The mindset. Me personally, my mindset was pretty much I needed the money, I wanted to make money, and I was going to do what I had to do to get out of the situation that I was in. But to continue trucking, you definitely, I feel like, not even just as a female, because I know men that have started trucking with me and they quit within a week. they quit within the first year. So it's not for everybody. So you need to be able to understand that yes, you're gonna be away from your family. Yes, there's a responsibility in terms of managing this truck. And I feel like people just get intimidated with being alone, pretty much. So if you have friends you could talk to and that stuff to keep your mind going, I think that's like the major challenge, you being alone as a trucker in terms of mindset. And I don't know if you see it as a career, I would say have some type of growth to look forward to. I moved to Georgia a few years back, probably going to leave there by the end of this year though. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of people in Georgia and a lot of people are telling me to move down south, but I don't know. It's not calling me. It's not calling me. I don't know. But Georgia I heard is nice. I've never actually been there though. Um let's see. How did you learn to back? I've been driving almost a year now and backing still gives me trouble. Practice. You only gonna learn to back if you do it. That's it. Fighting loneliness and seclusion is a big deal in this business. Hell yeah. You're alone all the time. So what I did, because with driving, that's your job. You just driving. So I found something to do on the side. I actually trade on the side. So once I'm done driving, I keep my mind busy by working on something else. So if you have a hobby or, if you don't have friends or anything, definitely find a hobby or something you could do after hours if it's not taking up too much of your sleep time. You can domicile anywhere, but my advice is to set up in a state that has no state income tax. Oh, okay. I know what you mean. I think New Jersey had income tax. I know what you mean. Yeah, that's some good advice because I used to live in Philly and work. One of my jobs I worked was in Jersey and I was getting heavy double tax. And it was crazy. So, because New Jersey has state tax. I never thought about that. Okay, let's see. More questions. Finding something else to do while trucking is a great thing. Having alternatives. Yep. Definitely. More skills that pay or more skills that keep you entertained. That way you give yourself a raise of 3 to 8% with the tax. So I definitely used to consider moving to Cali. I'm only out here because I'm doing a favor for a friend, but the prices are too high. I was looking at an apartment the other day because, like I said, I just in the hiring process of a new job out here, and an apartment for a 1 bedroom was like upwards of $17,000, and I was like, I could find something for 700 for that looks exactly like that on the East Coast. So absolutely not. I don't think I'll be moving to California. How long did it take to get comfortable with the road and driving long distance? How long did it take to get comfortable driving on the road? How do I keep the comments up? There we go. I would say, I want to say, I got comfortable probably within like 2 to 5 months, Only because, well, driving itself, I feel like I caught on pretty quickly driving, but when it came to navigating routes and all sorts of things like that, it took me quite a while. I'd say give it 6 months good time, because you're always going to have different scenarios. If you're on a dedicated route, it's different from driving over the road, because if you're driving 48 states, you're on the highway most of the time. If you're dedicated, you have all these back roads that you're gonna be on, and the backing and parking situations to deliver your loads are gonna be very different. So I think it depends on the type of job that you have and how long you keep that job. So that's a good question. But for driving long distance, how long it took me to get used to that? I like driving. It gives me time to think. Usually, like if I'm in a house and stuff like that, there's always something to distract me, and having that space to just do, because you're driving, you can't do nothing else but listen to music, talk to on the phone, or think. I like it because it gives me space to think, and I think a lot. So if you don't like to think, you probably won't like that. It's different for everybody. I think I had a comment here. I miss Philly, but I don't believe that I would move back. Perhaps close like Delaware. I do like Delaware. I actually almost moved to Delaware. I think it's very clean. The area it was very quiet. But that was also like near Air Force Base. I used to date someone near Air Force Base. So those areas tend to be quiet. But I heard Delaware is a good state to like retire. If you're looking to buy properties, a good place to like relax. When I started in this business, GPS hadn't been mainstream, and we still use payphones to communicate without dispatcher. Okay, so you said you started in 1993. I don't want to make you feel old, but that was before I was born, right? And literally the other day, I was like, we literally in this generation saw the rise and the change of everything that's so common for us these days. So to even think about like internet and cell phones and communication is different. So y'all had the paper logs and stuff, and the, what you call those, radio things. I actually like trucks that have the radios though. I think they're more effective for like warnings coming up on the road. Trying to get the comments to stay. If you have a friend with an address in a non-tax state, go there, register to vote, get a library card, a cell phone. Oh. I'm definitely heavily thinking about, you know what? I'm gonna screenshot and write those things down actually. I'm definitely thinking about maybe Georgia or Florida. Parts of me, Georgia isn't calling me, but I have a trading team in Florida, so I want to be around them. And it's also kind of like tropical, like home. We use maps. See, not doing that. Not doing the maps. Not doing the maps. I don't even think I know how to read a map, to be quite honest. So I like my GPS, even though it fails a lot of times and it's highly inaccurate. Let's see. At least for trucks, the GPS is inaccurate. You have those roads that nobody knows even exist. So let's see. More questions from the comments. What? That was a weird question. I'm not even gonna say it. Okay. Did you have any knowledge of trucking before you became a trucker? No. I No, I've been on a truck, kind of like a road trip type of vibe, and that was it. So I seen truck stops, I seen what a truck looked like, but no knowledge of trucks. I didn't know any parts or any of all the extra stuff that we're supposed to know. Florida would be a good place to call home. Freight sucks coming out of Florida. I've heard that freight does suck. But it pays well entering Florida. I was 23 when I started trucking. Same as me. Maps aren't that bad, truth be told. I haven't used one in about 10 years now. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to things like that we're not used to, I always say it can't be that bad because it's really just a matter of learning it, right? So I know I'm over exaggerating. So let's see more questions. Try to get through these comments. A lot of them are in reference to my accent. Let's see. Do you have to do OTR when first starting out? Probably, more than likely you will, but no, you can request a regional route. How long does it take to be a truck driver? I'm guessing it depends on the trucking school. My process took 4 weeks. So 4 weeks to increase your income, potentially change your life. And that's pretty damn legit to me. And that's just to get your CDL. Then you have to do your training process with your mentor at a job. So I would say let's give it, a week or two to actually find a job if you didn't by the time you was in trucking school, and 4 weeks with your mentor once you get the job. So I'd say maybe 2.5 months to be a truck driver. Are you still doing it? This question was asked a month ago. So I did take a break from trucking while I'm out here in Cali. And like I said, literally last week I started looking for new jobs. I'm getting prepared to leave. Let's see. Kind of woman of 42 that's been driving for years with a tow truck. Driving, do this. So 42 years old, don't put a age limit on absolutely anything in this life. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And if you have tow truck driving experience, I would say you definitely have an advantage. You're probably gonna learn a lot quicker than I did as far as the maneuvers. I know for tow trucks, you don't have as much like wiggle room at like your pivot point when you hook your truck to like the vehicles, because they don't move, they're just like pretty snug on there. I would say that's probably the only thing you have to consider, like your maneuvers. But as far as towing something, you would probably have more, I would say, the mindset to kind of look out for something that you pulling behind you. So I can't imagine it'll be much different if you already in trucking in some way. Are you familiar with Miss Diva Trucker? She has a YouTube channel. She only drove trucks for 6 years and is doing brokerage. I've considered freight brokerage. I have considered that. I'll look for her, Miss Diva. Let me screenshot. No, I haven't heard of her. But I will look for her. And I'll tell her in the comments that I got a recommendation. All right, so it looks like that was the last question in the comments. All right, I reached to the top. So if you guys don't have any more questions or anything like that, thank you for those of you that, participated in the live and, asked questions and got to know me a little bit better. I definitely enjoy this, and y'all are going to see more of me on YouTube with more content, and I'm going to diversify the channel. I know when I started, it was probably about one person when I said this, but I'm going to get into more of like financial industry alternatives, because like I said, I do trading. And I actually do trading while trucking. So for those of you that are truck drivers, you might like that content too. All right. I also do e-commerce business and all sorts of things like that. So like I said, I will never pull out anything that I have not done. It's always stuff that I'm experienced with. And thank you guys for watching. Let's look at these last few comments here. Women who are in business like herself, and you are actually inspiration to men like me. Oh, thank you. And I trade stocks for a living. I am looking to get into stocks. I actually trade in a foreign exchange market and with the cryptocurrencies that are actually booming today. So crypto is very new, but I'm building a portfolio doing that. And ever since I've considered a portfolio building, I'm like, maybe I could do the stock thing. It shouldn't be that much different. So thank y'all. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep an eye out. Bye. How do I close this?